Hello, I'm Dr. Bond. We're now in installment 5 of the BAFA studies. BAFA 5 is CV padding, curriculum vitae. We'll begin with some elementary observations. We again meet our old pal, Academicus Twitticus. All his waking thoughts and most of his dreams center around only tenure. And tenure is obtained through the all-important CV, curriculum vitae. And as it is said, size matters. A CV not only has got good quality in there, but the main thing they're looking for a lot of the time is thickness. The closer it gets to being able to stop a bullet, the better they like it. And once again, when you pad those things, always remember with Frederick the Great, who said this, it gets misquoted a lot, but God is on the side of the bigger battalions. And you want those bigger battalions in that CV. And the quality can vary. It's not many people, you look at the papers people write or the papers that your minions write, and not many people are able to intelligently judge the quality of your work, but absolutely everybody knows how to weigh something. You set that on there, you're trying to pad that CV out, so, this is an impressive CV. You've got this and that. The quality can be all over the place. Not everybody can intelligently judge your work, but everybody knows how to weigh something. And if you've got some sheer volume in there, you're trying to get all the padding and all the upholstery you can on that CV. And so Academicus Twitticus lives and dies with the padding of that CV, with the thickness, with the work on it. So therefore, here we have an upholstery thing. I can picture an Academicus Twitticus walking up to one of these things. Do you do CVs? Do you pad things? I've been trying to get some upholstery on this. And nothing is too much. I've got here an overstuffed chair. You can't have too much padding on that while you're advancing, you're advancing the sum of, the sum of human knowledge. One meaningless cushion at a time. You're doing that as you're padding that CV. And think of a grossly swollen, I was stuck with ticks. This could have been worse, it could have been leeches, but they will grossly swell up from that regular size. This is the padding of a CV, and it can be done to grotesque proportions. And I will get off the tick slide. Now, a few methods for the inflation of the CV will be briefly discussed here. And there are many typical techniques for CV padding, which border on methods which can seem downright industrial. As we'll do this, we manufacture upholstery for CVs. Think of William Blake's The Dark Satanic Mills he referred to in the north of England. And there we are, we're trying to put padding on a CV. We're manufacturing upholstery. We're having people go through there. And since you've got an army of minions, that's done on an assembly line basis. Without a great deal of regard to quality, but let's keep the line moving. Get out of the way, son. We're making CVs. And after a while, this gets to be confused with get out of the way, son. We're making human knowledge, which is what that is supposed to signify. But we're just trying to bring this up in bulk. This is how you pad a CV. They confuse this with tenure. The closer your CV comes to being able to stop a bullet, the more likely you are to get some tenure. It doesn't matter how you can teach, how you can impart knowledge. You just want to fatten up that CV. And therefore your minions are there for more or less that reason. Get out of the way, son. It can be big things like cars. It can be little things like, I believe, computers there. But get out of the way, son. We're manufacturing human knowledge. Now, whether it's real or not, we'll get into in a later talk, but that's the interesting part. Now, it's only semi-industrialized. We've used the factory method there. There are large factories and large assembly lines, but the current model of padding a CV seems to require a lot of fairly intensive peasant/hands-on/serf labor. And laborers, these work in these rough, dirty, dangerous conditions where basically the Academicus Twitticus, this is minions, he's casual about casualties, to coin a phrase. You can have one, here's what you need to work on, here's what you need to do, all this. That's all going on in his CV with him being first author. And he's running a sweatshop there. And you see those poor guys there that are in there. They're dressed up. They're going through their deals. They've got their own work to do. But they're padding CVs. they're getting on that thing. They're getting those papers for the guy. There they are working with a bunch of dangerous machinery around there. We're casual about casualties. And this is so our guy who's already starting to affect the pipe. Here he is. I'm the greatest authority on the world on this very subject. I have over 90 papers on it, I'll have you know. And the example I always use, that's Henry Ford II. Now, an interesting story behind that, which I think is after this, is Henry Ford II was kicked out of an Ivy League school for plagiarizing a paper back when that was required a lot of work rather than just getting it off a computer like now. But over the years, as the head of the Ford Motor Company, he hadn't written that term paper, but he was kicked out. Over the years, he gave that institution a very large amount of money. He was given an honorary doctorate at that university. They won't say it's for getting those contributions and things, but he came out, part of that is requiring to give a talk. And Henry Ford II, who'd out for plagiarism, came in there with a copy of his talk, and the first thing he said when he set that thing down on the podium with the microphone is, "I didn't write this one either," and then commenced to read his talk. It had been written. I've always thought that was a first-class way to handle that. So, Don Marquis, which is how that's pronounced there, whenever a man tells you that he got rich through hard work, ask him whose. Now, the flip side, you do enjoy that. Liz Taylor wrote a book, largely autobiographical, and it was actually pretty good, and evidently she did write that herself. And she was asked by Hollywood columnist Adam Popper, "Enjoyed your book? Who wrote it for you?" To which Liz said, "I'm glad you liked it. Who read it to you?" So, some good things there. Thank you very much. Please get into the BAFA series. Please keep watching Bond Reports. Please subscribe. Thank you very much. We will do further BAFA studies very soon. Thank you.